Hey everyone, you're here with Mark Bawa at Perfectgardens.com. So today we got a great question from Thrak250. Is it okay to mix organic nutrients worth casting with your inorganic hydroponic chemical nutes? When growing hydro in cocoa, I don't think you want to mix it due to the fact that we hydro growers, have a sterile environment and therefore nothing to break down the organic material and make it available to the plant. These are a couple great questions, and in this video, we're going to get into it.
Are you tired of getting crappy advice from your local hydroponics store? Or having to search all over forums to get advice that only takes you in different directions than solving your immediate problem? Well, join our membership for $50 a month. You get direct access to me. We'll connect on WhatsApp app. And just like this gentleman that started back in July with us, as problems arise, we are here for you.
Okay, so for the first question right here, is it okay to put worm castings in chemical nutrients? First off, yes, it is okay to put worm castings, especially, let's get around worm castings for a second. Worm castings is one thing, but I think in more what you were probably referencing is a healthy humic layer of soil mixed in with your cocoa. I think that's really what you meant, because the humus and what I'm talking about, and a lot of times the chemists or the creators of cocoa or perlite or hydroton or rock wool or all of these things, they don't really take into consideration how important that one layer of humus it really is when messing around with your magnesium. And in a lot of these videos, I've talked about the relationship between cocoa and magnesium and calcium, really these two relationships, the magnesium and cocoa, and how important it is for magnesium to be in the environment when your plants require a slightly higher alkaline and slightly lower acidic, because that magnesium actually helps the release and enzyme production of all your other minerals. The most significant thing with this humic layer is that it allows for those beneficial fungi and bacteria, if you're using beneficial bacteria and fungi, also to begin to build a fibrous system within the fungi. Those fibrous systems actually help with the transportation of minerals back to the root system. Where using chemical nutrients is really significant is when you're using over 900 parts per million of specifically phosphorus. The other things do also play a role, but a higher phosphorus will begin to shut down your microbiology and the other benefits of that humic layer. Next thing is bringing up the topic of whether you're using a sterile environment. Let's be clear, guys. If you are not adding in hydrogen peroxide into your reservoir every single day, which is quite a bit of hydrogen peroxide, guys, then your system's not sterile. And even every single time you add in the hydrogen peroxide, you're really only cleaning off a certain amount of surface area. So your stem, it's a living organic matter. The second your stem went into your hydroponic system, your system no longer is sterile. So because it's no longer sterile, you are going to be battling a relationship between beneficial bacteria and beneficial fungi and bad bacteria and bad fungi. And you're going to be battling an over-bacterial environment, because at times you have too much bacteria and at times you have too much fungi. I do understand you cocoa growers, right? If you do not want to mix in anything and you're all about, I know, I get it, you just bought a $40 bag of cocoa from some company that's telling you it's the best cocoa, right? That's been washed and it's sterile and they run it through all these machines before they send it over to you. And so it's this beautiful cocoa, and I get it. You don't want to add worm castings where these worms that were pooping, and now you have this worm poop and put it into your beautiful, nice, sterile cocoa. And you don't have to do that at all. You don't. You just have to make sure to do more work's going to rely on you to stay in control of your pH and to make sure that magnesium is constantly being given to your plants at the right time so that the rest of the minerals can be processed properly. Especially cocoa growers, right? You really got to understand, why is cocoa being used in hydroponics, right? It's because it doesn't really hold on to those salts. It has has the ability for these salts to, the second you give them your plants, if they're not collecting on the surface of your soil, or you're not allowing your pots to dry back too much, those salts should relatively wash through or rinse through, and only what the plants need is going to be getting taken up. That's why cocoa was pushed, because of salt buildup and salt lockup. Although we've come to understand that cocoa does not retain magnesium, right? It doesn't retain magnesium because there's not really a porous surface area for magnesium, that specific molecule, to really take hold and just lock into that rhizosphere long enough for the rest of the minerals to utilize the function of magnesium in its environment. Although a lot of you cocoa growers will, it's really funny, you can stay as sterile as you want, but a lot of you cocoa growers will run into gnats fairly quickly within your grow, quite often, which is another reason why I recommend adding in some type of a healthy humic layer, because once you start to build up your beneficial bacteria and fungi, those things will actually begin to, and nematodes or other things, however, whatever way you want to build up your system, will actually be natural preventative maintenance for your pest problems. I do understand that our growing seasons are fairly short, normally 3 months, and sometimes a lot of stuff doesn't have the time to build up. Although you do have to take in consideration, if a spider mite can come into your room with a clone, and within 1 or 2 generations, and within 1 or 2 times of cloning it, your entire room has an infestation of spider mites, you also have to take consideration that good beneficial bacteria and fungi, nematodes, all that other stuff, can also repopulate just as fast, giving you the benefit of why they were created in the first place, for life to provide us nourishing, healthy food and medicine. I hope this video was helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great grow, everyone.